There are three roles in this application. One is an admin role, the second is the meal designer role, and the third is a client role. An admin will have the permissions to create users in this users section, and also delete the users and reset the password for any user. So how to create a user? You need to click on this register button and give a name and an email ID, which is the login username, and give a password and confirm the password and click on register. By default, the user will get created with the role of client. The difference between the client is basically the customer of Greener Village who would need to view their meal plans and meals. A meal designer is someone who creates meal plans for different users. So we'll go into those details later. From the admin UI point of view, only the admin and the meal designer will have access to it. The only difference between the admin and the meal designer is that admin has access to the users, whereas a meal designer here is not having an access to users. The other sections are visible for both of them. Now we will log in as a client and see for an admin. For a client user. And I should not be having permissions here because I have the role as a client. So it says user does not exist or does not have permissions. Whereas if I log in to the main MealPlanner UI, I would have permissions. So how to change the role to a meal designer? You can go click on edit and change the role to a meal designer and save. As of now, I'm just having this access as client alone, just to give this example here. So as a client, when I log in to the main application, if I give a wrong password, then I would get invalid user credentials. If I give the correct password, then I would be asked to log into the terms and conditions. Because this is the first time I'm logging in as the user, I need to accept this terms and conditions. If I reject it, then it will just go back to the same login page. The other difference is I can access the meals page even without logging in, as well as any particular meal. I can view it without having to log in. So if I accept the meal, whereas I will not be able to see any other options of meal plans. So there is only meals page and a meal page for any anonymous user. So if I have to log in, then I go to the main page and I give my credentials. And I log in and I have to accept the terms and conditions. And when I accept, I can see the meal plans view and the meals view. And I will be able to create a meal plan and so on. So I would show here that there is an option to create a new meal plan with a start date. So you can specify a start date for this and you can create a meal plan. And as you can see, there are two clips to say what kind of names you can give. You can say the family member name and the week name. So for example, there is someone else in my house for whom I want to have a different meal plan. I can say just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to give it as like this. And it also has a suggestion on what description I can give here. Say for example, there could be that the dietary restrictions changes within the family itself. So you can go a different requirements. Say for example, it's just vegetarian, and I can create tags such as vegetarian, and then I have to press and enter, and then it will get created as a tag, and so on. And I can create the meal plan with a start date. So it gives the first name, the initial of the first name as the avatar. So the tags are mentioned here, and if I had given a description, it would appear here. And I can also delete the meal plan and also copy this meal plan into a different meal plan and edit it. So this could be like a different, or for the same user it can be a different week also. And I can specify a start date which is a different one, and then I can drag and drop meals in multiple places. I just need to select the meal once and I can just drop across in different meal sections, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to quickly just select a few here and here just to show you how it works. So now if I click on this print button, I would get a preview of the meal plan calendar that I have. So they can just print it if required. This has the Greener Village and also the Civic Tech logo and a link to Go Feedback. And this, I can also edit the description to something else, and as an example, and also I can add more tags if required, like gluten-free and so on and so forth. And if you would like to go back, you just press on this button, and then you will see the different meals photos that I have selected. So this is the preview of this, and then I can also filter by tags. Say I want to only see which is gluten-free, then only this meal plan would come, and I can just cancel the filter by tag this way. Now let's look at a sample meal, which is bread and butter pudding. So if you notice the ingredients of this bread and butter pudding, you would see there are multiple ingredients. So so if you see the original recipe, it would mention the original recipe would mention it as butter or margarine, raisins or sultanas, apricot, raspberry jam or marmalade. So when there are so many products within listed as or, we have captured it in a way that all the user can choose one or the other. So the way that we are showing it in our meal recipe is in terms of substitute ingredient. So if you notice this, you would see for butter the substitute is margarine, and we have not specified a reason, so it just shows us that not specified. In case it's a different, say for example it is 4 grams and this is 4 ml in case of its olive oil or something, then we provision the measurement for the substitute ingredient accordingly. And similarly, when there are multiple, like for the jam, there were multiple substitutes. So instead of apricot jam, you can use a raspberry jam or a marmalade. So this is how we are showing, when the recipe ingredient says an or with multiple ingredients in it. So the way that you can set it up in the admin app is that you need to specify one ingredient as the primary ingredient. Say for example, butter is the primary ingredient and margarine is the substitute ingredient. Similarly, raisins is the primary ingredient and sultanas is the secondary substitute ingredient, with the primary ingredient stated as the name of the first ingredient. So similarly, if you go to the next page, you will see apricot jam is considered as the primary ingredient and raspberry jam is considered as the substitute ingredient, as well as marmalade is the substitute ingredient. So you need to mention the primary ingredient as whatever it is, whatever is the ingredient name. So how do you go about doing it is you edit this. I'll just show you how it is done. You can go select the list here, what is mentioned here. From this list, you can say which is the primary ingredient in this case, and select the primary ingredient. So we have selected apricot jam. Say for example, I selected as raspberry jam. Okay, you cannot select raspberry jam. Say for example, marmalade. I select raspberry jam as the marmalade, then it would come up here that apricot jam is the primary ingredient and marmalade is the substitute for apricot jam, and you can so on and so forth. So I'm changing it back to apricot jam here and saving it just to be on the consistency. So we can just have the first ingredient as the primary ingredient. So this is how a substitute works. So we have the meal code mentioned here, and the prep time and the cook time, as well as the portions and the serving size. If the recipe says the serving size, then it would be mentioned here. And you can print the meal using that print icon, and this would basically show you the method of preparation, tips, and the ingredients list with the Civic Tech logo and the Greener Village logo. And here it shows the tips that is there for the meal. And in case there's a nutrition data, it is available here. So we do not provide the estimate price right now. If you have mentioned the value here in the price, then you can mention the price here, and then it would show it up there. As of now, we have not implemented that feature, so it is just there as a future feature that we would implement. Now we will see from what an admin or a meal designer will look in terms of meal plans. So in Mealplans, whatever the user Shanti created is also visible to an admin as well as a meal designer. So I'll just quickly go into and just accept the terms and conditions for the meal designer too, because I just created it. And you can see that the meal designer as well as the admin is able to see what the other users are creating. So a meal designer or a admin can create a template. So you see there is one more filter by template which was not available in a client. So client has only search name and tags, whereas a meal designer has search name and a template and a filter by tags. I'll briefly tell you what is a template. So while creating a meal plan, you can either create a meal plan and assign it to a particular user, or you need not even assign a user and create a start date. A template is something that you would be creating in case you want to reuse the same template for multiple clients. So there is no user assigned to a template. Say for example, I want to create a vegan meal plan, which you want to use it for all vegans. So this is a template, and I'm just creating this. Now if I filter by template, I can see vegan meal plan, which is a template, and the template is denoted with a gray icon with a T. And if I the others are created without with the first name of the user. So say for example, I'm just adding some meals here, so I'm not sure which is vegan here, but I'll just randomly add some here and there in order just to make it work. And okay, a few of them, and you can see all those images here, what for the meals that was added. Now I can make a copy of this template and assign it to a user. So now this is a copy. So when there is no user assigned, the gravatar just shows just a person. So if I assign a user, how do I assign a user? Is I just click on the meal plan and select this, and for example, since there's only one user here, I'm just selecting this user, and or I can even select admin just to be different, and I can assign a start date, or it's optional, so you can just select some date here, and you can add something more. You can make changes. Say for example, I'm adding one more coleslaw, for example, and I'm saving this. Now if you see, this meal plan will have coleslaw in it, whereas the original template will not have it. So that's the purpose of a template, which is just like a basic plan, and which you can customize it based on the different users. And you can see the shopping list is now revamped. So I would be briefly telling you what these products are, or I can say it right now itself. Okay, so this says for whom this meal plan is prepared for, and what is the name of the meal plan, and when it is started. So if you notice, the products that we have brought here are taken from Walmart. I have just scraped them using a scraper API. So the prices that are mentioned here are as per March 2023, so we're just 2024. So we are just providing a disclaimer to the user, because we don't intend to keep updating every now and then, because there are some products which are added manually too. So when I'm explaining admin UI, I would tell more about how to create products. So this shopping list basically suggests these products can be bought for this particular ingredient. And if there are certain, say for example, salt is there in this cauliflower breadsticks, as well as chana spicy chickpeas, and coleslaw and different things. So it basically shows the meal name for which the ingredient belongs to, as well as the quantity and the unit, so that you can make a informed choice on based on how much is the quantity that is required, and to buy accordingly. And so it basically just shows you, and you can also print this, and when you print, you can view all the ingredients and the meal and the suggested product. And you can also delete a meal plan of a user or any user as a meal designer, and you can filter by template also. So that's about it in terms of meal plans. I would quickly go and show you from the admin UI about meals. So whatever Greener Village has shared as recipes, we have basically are listed out as documents, and I have linked them as different documents. And what we have done is we have taken these documents, and we have basically so if you notice that meals, there are around 115 meals. So in this meals, if you see, there are 115 meals here. Um, so this ID is different and this code is different. This is a meal code. So this meal code is done as per the list that is there in terms of sending order. You can, this is basically unique to identify which meal plan we are talking about, which meal we are talking about, or which recipe we are talking about. So we used AI to basically convert the document to a text and then to a JSON file, and then wrote scripts to make it enter into a database. So this was a lengthy process, and so we thought it should be easier for any volunteer in Greener Village to create their own recipes. So I'm going to explain how to create a recipe in case you have new recipes coming in. So you just click on create and you give a meal name, and the only mandatory column is the meal name, and then you can set the category. If there is a photo URL, you can specify that, a video URL or YouTube video or whichever that you have. And then method can be, in terms of rich text form, like, you can mention it like steps to do it. And tips is also having a rich text, so you can just go the tips. So I'm not going to create right now, but that's how you create a meal. And once you create a meal, they will not have any ingredients in it. So this is a full meal which has all ingredients in it, but even if you have created an empty meal, you will have this link of ingredients. You can click on these ingredients, and you can create an ingredient by clicking on this button, create button. So again, here the ingredient code is what we have done it. Say for example, Ameshot pie, if you notice it. I'm just going to go to this recipe quickly. So if you see, the first ingredient that was mentioned was unbaked 9-inch pie shell. So that is what you would see here too as the first ingredient. So we have assigned an ingredient code based on the list that was provided and in the recipe as ingredients. And this is the ingredient name and the quantity and the unit. And we have this product keyword in lower cases, and this is meant for searching and matching with the product that I showed in the shopping list, like the suggested products. So how it works is, whatever product keyword I'm giving here, say for example, I'm giving eggs as product keyword. If I go to the products and search for eggs, it will give me a list of eggs that are there, right? So if you notice, the product keyword has eggs in it. So that's how it matches with the ingredients. So I will be showing you what ingredients match is about shortly. Before that, this is how you edit an ingredient. Suppose you want to edit the quantity or a unit, or you want to change the product keyword to make the search work better, then you can do that. This is how you delete an ingredient with this button there. And a match is basically to match the relevant products that can be suggested in the shopping list. So when you click on match, it will show you the ingredient for which you're matching, and it will show you a list of products. The products has the product name, the price, the quantity, the unit, and an image to easily identify, as well as the source URL from which you have taken this information from, and the UPC code. So this is the exact information which I showed in the products. So suppose if an ingredient is not matching with the product, is not showing any products here, then all you need to do is go and search here in products. And if you give any keyword that is there in the product list, product name, say for example cheese is appearing here only, but if I give this, it would just appear as search across the any part of the name as well as product keywords and give you the exact match. So you can just go here, for example, Parmesan cheese would need Parmesan as the caps and capital letters. So that's what we need to go in case we want to match an ingredient and show the list here. Now if I select a particular, right now this is already selected, so great value, deep dish, tender flake and whatever. So how this was selected is if I click on say great value here, and then this say for example I'm just selecting these three options here, then this would appear here as the options, and when I click on a particular option, that would be selected as the best value. Say for example I'm changing this to the best option to be deep dye flakiest. If I select this then and click on save, then you would notice that it's got changed as the best relevant match. So in a shopping list, if you want to see the relevant matches, the very first one would be whatever was selected as the best option would appear as the first suggested product here in the shopping list for the meal that was selected. And the next next thing about a meal is that you can also view a meal by clicking the show button, and it would give you the method and then the summary, which says the prep time and the cook time and everything, tips and nutrition rating if you have given any, and so on and so forth. And nutrition only if you have made some entries, it would show up here. So if you want to edit any information, all you need to do is click on this edit button and you can edit those values. And if you want to edit a nutrition of a particular product, then you just click on that and click on edit and go the product nutrition value here. You can also create a nutrition here. So all these nutrition values will be how will the user know about it? I will shortly show that to you. Say for example, not sure which has a nutrition value. Okay, it says no data, which means it doesn't have. So when you hover over this nutrition rating, if it has it, then it would show you. I think some apple crumble or something had it. So I'll just quickly search that and see whether that has, yeah, yes. So this is the nutrition data, calcium, calories, or whatever was inputted, whatever was given here as the nutrition value would appear here for the end user. And I think you can search again with any name, like say for example pie, and it should appear for you. And products, again you can search product works, and that's about it from the admin UI point of view. So we'll go next to the meal section. So the meal section has okay. Yeah, the meal section has search user. So for the difference between an admin as well as a client user is that the client user will only have one favorite. Say for example, I am assigning Mealplans as my favorite. I set it as a favorite. When I hover over it, it will say whether I can toggle the favorite. So if I select this favorites, then whatever I have selected as the favorites would appear here in my favorites. Whereas, so in order to unfavorite it, all I need to do is just click on that button again, and if it is outlined, then it means it is not, it's unfavorited. So the difference in the admin UI is that I can also view my favorites. Right now the admin does not have any favorites. So let's say salsa cruda is my favorite. So then it will show me my favorites is salsa cruda. Say for example, the client had given apple muffins as his favorite or her favorites. Then I can also search based on another user favorites. So my Shanti user had cheddar apple muffins, which an admin is able to see as their favorite. Okay, so this is their favorite of Shanti, so I can add this to the meal plan. Uh, is what the idea is about, to view the favorites of another user. And you can filter by tags. So when you filter by tags, say for example pickles or side dishes, okay, you need to select one which has the side dishes alone. So if you have both, then it would try to see where both the tags are matching. So you need to select the tag that for which you want to view it. And this is filter by tags for meals. And so these are the three options for a meal, for viewing the meal. And yes, so you can log out with this log out button, and this is pretty much it. And if you have a feedback, you can always click on this link and give feedback. Thank you.